I'm trying really hard to give this show a fair chance. Really, I am. But after watching the third episode of The Acolyte, I'm convinced that this show has nothing of interest to say. Just a bunch of poorly written characters doing basically nothing in the absence of a coherent plot or any plot at all. This show has left me perplexed in a most unusual way. At the same time, I want to actually see if this is going anywhere, but have no confidence that any of it will be relevant or interesting even by the end of the show. With that being said, I'm Zach from the Five Nights Tavern, and today I'm going to try to figure out just what the hell is going on in The Acolyte. Let's get started. Let's begin with some of the small stuff first. This show continues to look and feel cheap to me. The sets look like plastic, and the costumes could be upstaged by any good cosplayer out there. I will give props to the makeup department, though, as the alien species in this episode do look good in their own right, so that's some praise I am willing to give. I've heard that this show had something like a $180 million budget, I think, and I just don't see where any of that money went. Certainly not into the actual production value of the show. The plot of this episode seems interesting on paper, but considering how I don't really care about any of these characters despite this being the third episode out of 8, it's hard to get invested into what's going on. We're now back in the past to witness the events that put the whole revenge plot that we've been seeing into motion, as Osha and May are preparing to become witches in the Coven hidden away from the rest of the galaxy. The Jedi somehow catch wind of these two Force-sensitive girls and crash the ceremony to try and test them. After some tense negotiations, the girls are tested and Osha decides she wants to be a Jedi. May takes that personally and decides to literally kill her and every other witch rather than let her leave. Osha somehow escapes with the Jedi and is presumed to be the sole survivor of the incident. So let's break some of this down. This witch coven is different from, say, the Night Sisters of Dathomir, as they worship the Force, or at least a different interpretation of it. They call this the Thread, and on the surface it seems like an interesting way to view the Force. Instead of wielding it for power, the Thread is used to tie and connect all living things, almost like destiny. This idea is almost instantly contradicted, though, as the girl's mother, who is the leader of the witches, immediately just uses the Force to push some other witches away in a demonstration. So much for not using it as a wieldable power. The Jedi don't do a whole lot in this episode aside from test the twins, but I continue to be annoyed at how this show just up and wasted Carrie-Anne Moss. This is Trinity we're talking about here. You made her into a Jedi, and then you didn't do anything with her. She just stands around looking bored the entire episode, and let's not forget how she just dies to a butter knife in the first 5 minutes of this pointless series. But wait, this entire episode is about Osha and May, right? How are they? Well, Osha in theory has an interesting character motivation. She's tired of living connected to her sister all the time and wants to be her own person. For that reason, she doesn't want to become a witch like everyone else and instead wants to leave the Coven and explore the galaxy, with the Jedi providing a convenient outlet for those desires. Okay, decent enough motivation for her, but her sister, on the other hand... Oh boy, where do I even start with this little psychopath? May is essentially a chaotic, evil little brat that likes to spend her time torturing butterflies while also relentlessly bullying Osha at any opportunity. May's motivation is so unclear that I was genuinely blown away by her actions later in the episode, as at first it just seemed like she wants to become a witch and live her life with her family normally. But the instant Osha decides she wants to be her own person, May does the only logical thing she can think of. Lock her sister in her room, light it on fire, and somehow brutally kill the entire coven that she supposedly just wanted to be a part of and live in. Literally, the first sign of something not going her way, she kills everyone and then blames Osha for it. Sure, May. It's all Osha's fault. You killed your family. Yeah, let's go with that defense. And did I mention that these two are immaculate conceptions of the Force? The Thread? Yeah, these two are so special that the Force itself made them. But how are they special? Who fucking knows, man? Can someone explain it to me? Because I'm lost. Osha and May are so uninteresting that I'm almost convinced the Force itself was so bored that it created these two boring girls as an outlet for itself. I know I'm sounding unreasonably harsh, but if you're going to declare that these characters were born of the Force, then you'd better make them interesting to watch. I've seen ice melt that's more riveting than these two cardboard cutouts. Look, I get it. This show is probably not for me. But that's not a very good excuse. Star Wars is supposed to be for everyone, and this show doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like a soap opera. I'd like anyone that enjoys the show to please let me know what they like about it down in the comments, because I really would love to have a new perspective about it, because I just can't get into it. No matter how hard I try, I'm going to keep watching the episodes. I'm going to keep seeing where it goes, because I feel like I have to give it a genuinely fair shot. It is Star Wars after all. But really, whatever you like about it, I would love to hear in the comments. If you found yourself enjoying my video and my ranting, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, cheers.